Jason and Jabari. Jason and Jabari.
Alright, what is up, guys? This is Jason from the Jason and Jabari Gaming, and today I have a special guest on call with me, none other than Truth Comics. We are a little late on getting this video out to everyone, but we are going to be covering the victory track as well as the Gladiator Circuit for season 26 of Battlegrounds. Now, um, Gladiator Circuit in season 25 split into 2 weeks of different metas, and this one is no different. So we'll be covering both weeks 1 and 2, and then we'll be covering weeks 3 and 4. That being said, Truth, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well this afternoon. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I'm ready to dive into this season's meta.
Are you though? Is this Jay will or is this Jay won't? Who
Oh
showed
my
up
God.
today?
Hey, after the conversation ends, I'll tell you which one. Uh, but I have successfully made it into the Gladiator Circuit personally from the victory track, which honestly was a little bit more challenging than I expected. To be completely real with you, I underestimated the limber and the
Yeah,
unstoppable. I think I did.
yeah,
So.
it's fair.
Yeah. But I will try to keep up with you as we can start off with the victory track and then we can kind of work our way into the Gladiator Circuit weeks 1 and 2 and then wrap it up with 3 and 4 if that's okay with you.
That sounds great. I mean, as a victory track slacker myself, I figure there's no better place to start.
All
Yeah,
right.
I had a long work week and all the things, so I haven't yet made it to the GC, but I'm ready to go through that. The victory track's been good. The node set, fight or flight, so the defender gains an unstoppable every 4 seconds. If the attacker's far away, it triggers on you instead. And then, as you noted, the big limber, the stun debuff, every stun duration further is reduced by 20%.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, it's been an interesting one.
So also within that, if you guys are running any of the Deathless champions minus Thanos, they get bonuses. So if you're running Deathless Guillotine, I'm reading it here. Upon activation, Special One inflicts a non-stacking 150% neutralize passive for 15 seconds. Now the 150 will actually stop Serpent, guys, by the
It's
way.
true.
So I
Very
don't know if
true.
you guys knew that or not, but I believe that is probably what inspired them to put the neutralize up so high because I can't think of anybody else who has a higher neutralize than that, or even something rivaling that that I can think of. Now there is Longshot who has like a 300% ability accuracy, but I don't think that the neutralize would interfere with him, or would it?
No, I don't think so because then he still has over 100% to trigger whatever ability. In
Right,
this case, which would be related to buffs, right? So I think
right.
Longshot would still proc buffs,
Okay,
even
so
with 150%
yeah,
neutralize if it would even apply.
aside from him, how would Atuma fare?
That's a good question.
I don't, I honestly don't
That's a
know.
good question.
I don't honestly know. Not that I think that it's a good idea on any stretch of the imagination, guys, to bring in Guillotine against Atuma.
I
I
mean,
think
she
that's a
does
very
heal.
bad idea. But
She
you're
does
right.
heal
She
based on
does heal.
RNG.
She does heal. She does heal. But I honestly don't know if that will work or not work. But those are only two champions that I can think of. Well, long shot we covered, but I don't know if it will work with the tumor or not. I'm not sure, guys. But
Yeah.
unless it's a throw around, I wouldn't advise it. Also with King Groot, uh, when struck by an unblockable attack, which this might actually benefit some of you guys running King Groot, so pay attention. When struck by an unblockable attack, spend one Fury buff to gain an unstoppable passive for 3 seconds. So we'll talk about unblockable because there will be an unblockable, which is in the last week of the GC, the last 2 weeks. So that might be beneficial. I'm not sure, but just bear that in mind. Vision, bless your heart if you're running Vision, because like that's
Amen to
hey,
that.
hey, it takes a special one. You're a real one running a Vision and BG's man, the Deathless Vision for sure. Uh, Personal Fury max stacks increase to +6, and their pauses increased by 5 seconds. I actually don't know how many Furies he can gain by himself. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I don't play Vision, Deathless Vision, I should say. Yellow Pants Vision I get down with, but not Deathless. So I'm not sure, but hey, you get 6 more of those bad boys. Hopefully you won't have pillow hands, and you could do some damage while phasing, I guess. And then there's Deathless She-Hulk. I do have a rank 3 Deathless She-Hulk personally, and I did run her in the victory track for this reason, guys. And that was that she gains a grit passive buff for 10 seconds, which means that you can stay aggressive with her even if they do gain that unstoppable buff, where as Truth mentioned earlier, every 12 seconds somebody is gaining that buff. Unless of course you're Titania and you're away and you're buff immune, then it just resets, right? Or
Yep.
obviously anybody buff immune, right? So uh, that I wanted to let you guys know before we got started, but now I'm going to let Truth take over on thoughts on the victory track meta. You know, sneaky defenders, great attackers, etc.
Well, it's a good shout on those synergies because I did just gloss over those as I'm someone who's not running any of those champions. But as this is for everyone in the masses and people have their reasons and champs they love, that's a good shout.
Yes, sir.
Vision, by the way, 12 Furies is what he gets. So this gives him basically an extra 50% in terms of his Furies with those extra 6, which
Gotcha.
means he upgraded from, like those soft cushy pillows hands to like the more robust couch pillow hands
Okay,
maybe at this point
okay.
in time, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kudos to you. Like you said, bless your heart if you're running Deathless Vision.
Absolutely, man. There's the man, the myth, the legend. Obviously, you can't see it, Truth, but I pulled him up for everybody to see him and us bask in all of his glory there. All right. So I am
Let's
ready.
go. All right. Well, as far as this meta goes, for me, it's been a very open meta.
Okay.
Um, to your point, you really need to get just kind of into stun immune mode and effectively note to yourself, okay, I've got, presuming someone's running max limber, 2 to 3 parries maximum that I can get in and do what I want to do.
Hmm.
And the rest of the time, I got to kind of go stun immune. It's not that bad. You get into a rhythm with it. Um, that said, that means that greatly affects some champions that we like to use regularly. For instance, I pulled Crossbones out of my deck, which
Ooh.
is not something I would expect to do, but because I'm not that great with him, needing to parry heavy, I was not being successful with that myself.
Okay. Okay.
So some champions that rely on that parry a lot, Black Panther Civil War, Archangel, Onslaught, they're definitely being more affected than you would run so in a typical meta
Uh-huh.
because of those stun debuffs. Right? I've definitely noticed that a lot.
I agree. Um, you said Archangel, correct? And Onslaught,
Yeah, yeah, those would be on the
yeah.
no-go list.
Yep.
Archangel, you can't even really play this meta.
Yep. Not that I play him very often, if at all, anymore. Although I did like the champion. I was an Archangel guy back in the day, but now there's just other options that I go by. But Onslaught, I did try Onslaught versus a Bullseye in the victory track, and it went horrendously. It went
Yeah.
absolutely horrendously, and I was like, oh, so yeah, the parry is kind of an issue for sure.
Well, and it goes quick in the max limber age, right? It's
Yes.
you notice it very quickly when on your second or third stun, there's nothing you can do.
Yep.
And that match can be done, for the record. You're moving down from Bullseye versus or Onslaught versus Bullseye being a 50 to 51k to it being, 47, 48.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to bait some heavies and you're going to have to heavy counter and kind of work around his evade and stuff more.
And primarily most of the people that I face, I can't speak for the community as a whole, run block pin with bullseye,
Oh
which
yeah.
which means while you're baiting those heavies, the AI is going to be more than generous while you're trying to bait it and do at least a good 3 to almost 4 hit combo. Sometimes even back off and repeat before you get that heavy
Oh,
out. You know what I mean?
the
Super
backup
super
and repeat
nice.
is the
Oh
worst.
yeah, WAI man, WAI nowadays. So since they're running that block pin, you're feeling all of those hits. Don't worry. So that's why your score kind of goes down.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely. Absolutely. So that being said, in terms of, the champs that struggle, what that means is champions that don't rely on the stun as much are having, a good showing of success. So that's your passive stun champions. Right? Deathless Thanos. Well, Deathless Thanos is basically always going to be good.
Right.
I'm sure they'll find a way to nerf him in some meta, but we'll see. Your Chavez, these champions that can just kind of have the passive stun. Kate, all give you free openings in a fight that you won't necessarily get with other champs. So while they're not better or amplified in the meta, they're effectively as usable as they typically are, provided you kind of keep the limber in account, and you got to watch out for that unstoppable. All right, that's really the training in this whole meta is the rhythm of hitting and backing off
Mhm.
and throwing your special to where the unstoppable doesn't fall on the opponent if you don't have a means to deal with it. But most champs can give you that rhythm.
I
It
agree.
is very doable.
I
It is
agree.
very doable. I even had a sweet one on stream last night where I threw Jack's special two and paused it just enough to where I was away in the middle of the special two and got the unstoppable. And my opponent, it worked out in the cycle.
Oh,
So if you just
nice.
play with that timing, you'll get it. I've also had good success with Dazzler, again, getting free openings and having passive stuns.
Now, is your
It hurts my
Dazzler rank
soul.
3 awakened or not rank 3 and awakened?
My Dazzler is rank 3 and awakened.
Okay.
She is Sig 30.
Okay.
That said, and I've definitely used her in the Korg and Atuma matchups. I've also used her against Sinister
Mhm.
and used her against Onslaught. Been getting about 49 and a half, close to 50k with against Onslaught.
Is her rotation SP1, SP2 game over?
SP1, SP2, game over.
Got it. Okay.
It really provided you hit your timing on the special one taps. You got to get at least probably 3 of the 4 for it to be special 2 game over. But her timing is really straightforward on those taps.
Okay.
So once you get a little practice in, it's not as hard as it is with someone like Viv.
Ah, okay. Okay. Because I know you're pretty good with Viv back in the day with her with her SP2, I believe it was, correct? Her SP2, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got that timing down pretty decently near the end, and I
Okay.
still love to use her when I can in war. But it's we're in the rank 4 era now. It's going to be a little bit tougher to bring those ascended 6 stars in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. So who do you think? I know you said passive stun. I added some in there while you were still speaking. So I added in Negasonic because I think her passive
Oh
stun
yeah,
is super awesome and definitely will give you a lot of openings. Um, and I also added in, which this is granted his special too, Shocker. Once,
yeah, oh yeah.
yeah. So
No,
I also
both
added,
graded
yeah.
absolutely top notch additions.
Yeah. So I added those in because of you said passive stun and you were naming people, so I just added those in. But please continue.
No, great additions, absolutely. So much so that Negasonic. I mean, the reason she's under my head is I don't have her ranked up, and she's banned. I ban her every
Oh
single time.
yeah, yeah, she's
Yeah, you know it when I face you. Negasonic
yeah,
goes away. She goes away. I'm
yeah,
not dealing with someone who counters my entire skill deck
yep,
and it just passives everything. So
yep.
not interested. And
uh,
Shocker, I need to figure out how to work him into my deck on my main account because he's Shocker, right? He's
yeah,
special one, special two, dead
yeah,
against the majority of things.
yes. Which it's sad because I have been at this point where it's like, all right, well, who do I add at this point? I have so many options that are good that will work. It's just like I can't add everybody, and that's across the
Hmm.
board in all categories. So it's becoming very difficult for me to find the optimal deck, simply because I have the champions. at the highest rarity. Well, not rank 4 now, but rank 3, right? Most of them. But I just simply can't add everybody. So somebody gets benched,
Hmm.
and it's like, man, if I had this champion in my deck, I would have won this matchup because they do this one better. But then it's always that
Yeah.
argument, right? It's always that argument for
Oh yeah.
whomever. So, yeah, that's sad.
I couldn't agree more to that point of, Crossbones of having to pull him out, but yeah, I have rank threes, Dusts and Venoms, and I have no CGR, I don't have my Ascended Stark. Yeah, I have all these champs I don't have in my deck.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, where I go, man, in this round, this would have been so much better, but yeah, this is where we're at with the I have so many rank threes era, right? Only 30 champs in a deck.
Only 30
Which,
in a
by the
deck,
way,
brother.
how dare we? I'm so sorry. I apologize to you, the people, not note that Juggernaut's back. Let's go.
Juggernaut is kind of back.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, he's kind of back. Yeah, he's kind of
Hmm.
back. He's kind of back. I agree
He's
with you.
kind of back.
Yeah, he's kind
Let's
of back.
go.
Yes, which I was happy initially for the
Uh
victory
huh.
track,
Uh
right? Because
huh.
I was like, oh man, Juggy's gonna crush it. And then I got to the Gladiator Circuit, and Juggy is not back.
Uh,
The
he's not back.
the weakness is just absolutely
That's right. That's a
yeah,
perfect segue. Look at you, like a professional.
he is he was there for a minute, enjoy him in the victory track, but the weeks 1 and
I
2,
will.
he is not back.
No,
He
no,
gone.
and two, that's great. Great transition. Yes. So the Gladiator Circuit weeks 1 and 2, we're in split metas. Thank God, by the way. I still love it. As much as I know that everyone has different feelings about things,
Yeah,
I personally am a fan of give me 2 weeks and 2 weeks
yeah,
over one of four all the
yeah.
time. It is the victory track, so fight or flight, the unstoppables involved, the limbers involved, but that infamous node, long distance relationship, gets
Yeah,
involved, in which you will get a weakness debuff every 3 seconds, which reduces your attack by 10%.
which is
And then
a
you stay
lot.
away and it falls off. So that, to your point, immediately shifts the game. As we said, we've got a pretty open meta. Okay, play around the unstoppable, you're all right. Obviously, unstoppable counters are great. Your slow champs and whatever works for how you want to construct the deck in that
Mm-hmm.
thing. And then we get to this 10% weakness. So Juggy immediately shut down.
Yep.
Nothing you can do about it. There are some people who do the special 3 into special 2. I just think it's too long for Battlegrounds. So
It takes it's quite time consuming, but I mean, hey, to each their own.
to each their own. So the weakness is an interesting one because it's I think if I'm not mistaken, it's 10% off the top, which if those who haven't seen, and I don't know about shouting other people out, but DLL just did a video recently on the math of MCOC. And if you are nerding out on the game and you want to understand it more, I highly, highly recommend that video because it's someone who develops the game explaining to you how these attack values and crit values interact and where they stack and how things get affected. Because while I don't have a list in front of me, I know that there are champions who aren't affected by weakness because their damage is based on base attack. Two that come to mind are Cassie, because of how she does her damage through power stings, and
Mm-hmm.
Omega Red.
All right, let me get to Cassie. There's Cassie and Omega Red. Keep going.
And Omega Red. Because of how weakness interacts, they basically can do their full damage all the time, no matter how many weaknesses get stacked on them. And in a case where you want to maintain health and go fast, being able to regen and not have your damage reduced is pretty cool. Now, I'm not saying they can hang in the meta when people have solved the problem and worked around it, but being able to bypass weakness and still do your damage is a big deal.
Right, I
There's
agree.
probably more champs that could make that list. I wish I knew the game better, but
I honestly I don't know personally. I don't know. I don't know, and you're probably right. But guys, I wouldn't intentionally lie to you. I don't know, and I'm okay with saying I don't know because I don't know everything in the game. and I don't
Of course
hopefully
not.
pretend like I do, but yeah, I don't know which champions. I didn't even know those two champions did because I don't play either one of them. But I'm glad, Truth, that you pointed them both out because I had no clue. Um, what I will say is, what I have seen, um, is the weaknesses affect people. So in the victory track, it can be a Nuki meta. And I say can be because you have to play it a specific way in order to get the outcome of the nuke, right? You have to back off to not have them get the unstoppable, which obviously is bad, right? Unless, of course, you have something to counter the unstoppable um, in the victory track. But in the gladiator circuit, doing the nuke is going to be very challenging because of those weaknesses. Again, they're happening every 3 seconds. And I don't know if you guys watched Andrew the Rough versus Barrel Man, but he tried his Starkey cook and it did not go well because he is being massively hindered from being super
Mm.
aggressive with Starkey, even with max poise charges, because he had like 6 of them things on him. So again, trying to stay aggressive with certain champions that are supposed to be nukish is going to be a lot more challenging now because of those weaknesses. I think a lot of people are underestimating how much they actually affect your champion's damage output when
Hmm.
you have a decent amount stacked up on you. And again, they only fall off one at a time. So you're
Yeah.
stalling out the fight now, which is fight duration, you know what I'm saying? And it's not going to go as well as you probably imagined initially. So the victory track is easier in my opinion because it doesn't have that hindrance of the weaknesses. And also dangerous champions for this meta in the victory or in the gladiator circuit, I believe will be Void because you're getting
Oh yeah.
weaknesses and he is going to punish you for getting those weaknesses. So he's
Yeah.
one to watch out for sure. Let me go to him while I'm talking about him. I am working on taking my Void to rank 3. I actually can take him to rank 3 right this second, right now. However, we're waiting because of the battleground or AW, so I don't want to use my generic, but I will take him up probably during the season to rank 3, and I will get another shot here in about a couple of hours at the loyalty crystal, so hopefully I can awaken mine. But he is definitely one that you want to watch out for.
Yeah.
Another one that is going to cause a little bit of an issue is going to be Photon. The way that she functions as a defender is the more debuffs that you have applied to you, the harder she's going to hit and the longer it's going to take, especially if they're running max inequity. So inequity in itself is probably a mastery I would invest in if you're going to be in the GC for weeks 1 and 2. It's definitely going to help, especially with all the weaknesses they can get on them from trying to be aggressive, which means that not only will they have X times 10% per weakness, but they'd also have the inequity mastery working against them as well. So something to take note of. And there's other champions like that as well that can potentially. I don't personally run a Tuma on attack too much, but he could potentially
Hmm.
shrug those weaknesses and utilize those
Hmm.
into hydration stacks, which actually helps him in his damage output, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Truth.
Hmm.
So
No, it does.
there's
It
a
does.
way that you can, benefit from that. Another one would be Titania. Technically, if she's on defense, then she's already tanky, but again, with debuffs on yourself, that helps ramp her up. So there's something to consider. Um, Truth, you got any while I'm still scrolling through here looking that maybe it will help damage them? Or actually, Shang-Chi, actually, guys, is a really good shout. I should have said Shang-Chi a while ago. I didn't.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got the slow
He's
and he's
got the
got the
slow,
cleanse.
he's got the slow, and he's
Yeah.
got the cleanse, guys. So if you have a
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, you might want to consider putting him in your deck because he can do full damage if you know his Wushu strikes really well and you line everything up
Yep.
right. He could be a massive nuke, if you will, in both the victory track and the Gladiator Circus weeks 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally. No, totally agree. I think you nailed right down the void, right? Punishing
Yes.
people for applying that debuff. He definitely was on my list as the classic. Oh crap! I got a debuff defender.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal
um,
your thunder there, brother. I
no.
apologize.
I want to double back to that. I'm gonna double down on void. Is
All
what I'm
right,
telling
let's
you
do
guys.
it. All
You
right.
either need to deal with him within your deck, or you need to ban him because if you get caught, you're gonna have a problem. Now,
Yes.
that said, and to the weaknesses and needing to deal with these things and cleanses, that means champs like Chilth are going to be working at a high value, right? Because she can both cleanse the weakness as it comes
Yes.
in, and she's a great void counter as well, right? And you'll be doing that bleed damage, do that DOT.
Yes.
I would never run him because I'm not a monster, but you could always run Baron Zemo and get in there and shrug those weaknesses again. You're just going to wind up rooting and getting into your damage cycle quicker.
Where is
Uh,
Zemo?
Kingpin,
Kingpin.
people not really running the 6-star Kingpin too much anymore. But again, if someone 7-star rank 3 is doing minus 50% damage because they have, 3 debuffs on them, then suddenly a 6-star Kingpin that's, shrugging those weaknesses off and is getting boosted by it isn't going to be that slow. He's going to be out getting work done. And if
Mm-hmm.
Photon's doing the same thing, you got to be looking at these champs. I also think one other that I know people were very disappointed by her fall off in the victory track was Jabari. I think now that debuff's being applied to you and you don't need to parry
Ooh.
to trigger things, that Jabari could probably be back in this meta.
That is a very good shout. I haven't thought about it. I know most of her damage does come from when she gets the bleed, so I would strongly suggest the matchup needs to favor them taking some bleed damage because I know she can cook when she gets into the hunt, um, and she gets that fury buff.
Yep.
For sure she can cook hard. Um, but yeah, that's a good shout. Excellent shout. I didn't think about that.
I probably need to rank mine up. It's probably time.
Yeah,
I've
mine's rank
been
3,
just
brother. I'm ready.
waiting for a year, literally a year. I was looking at her a year ago, being like, I should rank this champ up.
She's a good champ.
Just haven't done it.
She's a good champ. I know another one that some people are trying to use, and I'm not a Mantis player, but I know this champion can
Oh yeah,
technically work if you keep the tranquilize up. Then you
yeah.
won't get the weaknesses applied to yourself going against science champions. Now, I think there's a
hmm
lesser potency of that tranquilize against outside classes, right? If I'm not mistaken. But I know that offensively she can work decently well, from what I've seen. But I just haven't seen her take off like a normal meta. But I've seen her work. I will say that much.
Yeah,
I've definitely seen
yeah.
her work. Um, other than that, do you have any standout-ish champions that you want to make note of or make mention of?
No, I think we went down a good list. Again, those cleanse and shruggers, right? That we're going to make sure that weakness doesn't affect you, and thus they'll keep a good speed. Cheese, emo, Bones should be back. Kingpin, Jabari,
Yep.
Shang-Chi, Jay mentioned earlier. I think Mole Man, right?
Oh, yes, Mole Man
Um,
as well. You are absolutely correct. And also one more that I'm thinking of now that you said something. JJ is going to be nasty.
oh yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah,
Very good shout.
yeah. If you guys are running Jessica Jones or anything like that, as a defender, the way that she functions is, they get debuffs applied to them, it ramps her up, and then she starts to become unstoppable and unblockable. So she's going to be essentially a problem,
hmm
is what I'm saying. She's
hmm
definitely going to be a problem for sure, and I can't find her at all. Where is she?
She's in there. She's somewhere.
I
She's
promise you she
probably
is. I don't
bashing
know.
someone in the face right now.
She is somewhere, man. I'm not good with finding champions. I just realized that. I am not good
Uh,
with it.
and one last shout too, I'll give because we kind of forget about her a little bit in the current game as being 6-star locked, but Valk. Valk deals with
Oh,
unstoppable better than
yes.
anyone in the game, realistically.
Yeah.
And I have reports from a very trustworthy source who won't be named, but he has a rank 4 photon and said that someone valked his photon in under 70 seconds.
Woo.
So
That's
she's
very
alive.
impressive.
And she also has a chance to purify debuffs. So
That is
she'll deal
true.
with kind of both sides of the node,
That is true.
presuming RNG works out.
So, guys, if you have a Valkyrie and you like playing her or you like her playstyle, which is kind of Masacre-esque, then
Hmm.
put her in your deck. Put her in your deck. All
Yeah,
right.
I think so, because to the transition as we go, that brings us to weeks 3 and 4 of the
Yes.
GC. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you, Unstoppable is not going anywhere
Nope.
for the last 2 weeks. So
It's
Valk's going to be
staying.
one of those
Yeah.
attackers, right?
Yeah.
You're going to want your Valk. You're going to want your Valk. So in weeks 3 and 4, you have the same attacker buffs. So again, it's just tied to those deathless champs that aren't Thanos.
Right.
And, if you're playing them, they'll benefit. The only one I really run myself is She-Hulk, but I don't have any of them at rank 3 myself other than Thanos. So,
Okay.
and then the buffs. Okay, so this is an interesting one, and I like it. I like it. When the defender gains a Fury effect, they become passively unstoppable for 5 seconds. If they already have an unstoppable effect, they become passively unblockable for 5 seconds.
It's gonna be
So as
nasty,
my
guys.
defender gains a Fury, they're going to go unstoppable.
Yeah.
And if I've worked around that and hit them again and they get another one, they'll go unblockable. Now, thankfully, Kabam did build in a counter to the first part of that, which is stoppable. But basically, when you punish their special attack, you're going to get a grit passive for 10 seconds.
Yep.
It's paused during special attacks, your special attacks, and the striker. So as long as there are champs that you can keep in a good rhythm and punish their special regularly, you're going to have grit most, if not all, of the fight.
Right. But just
Now,
bear
add
in
on to that.
mind. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna reiterate basically what you were saying. Just bear in mind that they're still gonna have that unstoppable or unblockable. So if you push them to a special that you can't dex, you're still gonna get whacked, regardless if you have grit or not.
Yes, indeed. Add into that repetitive hate, which means every time you, as the attacker, throw the same special, the defender is going to gain a passive fury, granting 50% attack. Massive.
Yeah.
If you land a heavy, remove one of these fury stacks. So again, that's just fueling the fuel the fire, right?
Yeah.
Here's an extra fury we're going to throw into the mix. That's going to make sure you're dealing with some sort of unstoppable and or unblockable because you're using the same special.
Yep. But again,
And then of course we have our spirit gauge.
yeah, I don't honestly believe that that's that big of a deal unless of course you get punished, right? Then that's a big deal
Yes.
if you get punished. But like if
Yeah.
I'm going against somebody, uh prime example, Iceman. I like to do Iceman's SP1s, right? Because they give off
Okay.
the cold snaps and stuff like that. Obviously the SP2 is more rewarding, but I lose my ice armor, so I don't really like to do that. I mainly like to spam SP1s. But if I'm going against someone like a Chavez or something like that, where I'm only going to bait out her SP1s, really, then I don't necessarily think that I'm going to switch up from SP1 to SP2 to SP1. You know what I'm saying? I'm just probably going to spam my SP1s, just knowing that okay, well she's going to be unblockable and unstoppable. But as long as I have my grit buff, it really won't affect how I play the game. But that's more of a generic fight that probably will not be happening. Some of the other fights you might have to play it that way, which could slow you down when it comes to your time duration.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, I
Absolutely.
do have some champions that I think are going to be nasty for this, but I will
All right.
let you go first.
No. Let's hit it. Just if you're feeling the flow, feel the flow. Where are we feeling?
This might surprise you, but guys, this champion might be a problem. I might even ascend mine and put him in the deck.
Oh, I can't
And
wait to hear it. I
A
know who it's gonna be.
Aegon.
Yep, there it is. Wait, Jay
uh,
will put a 6 star in his deck?
I know,
No
right?
way.
Yeah, I might even. I'm because well, guys, he gains a fury buff every time you hit him. So
Yep.
immediately you hit him, you're gonna get whacked in the face.
Yep.
So the way that I thought of to play this champion is to hit his block until he builds up to an SP1, and then after that he's pretty easy because you can punish his SP1. But until such a time, if you try to parry and then hit, you can get the first parry off. But you try to parry again and hit, I believe he will go unstoppable the next time, right? Or
He would.
unblockable or the next time, right?
If he's unstoppable and you hit him, he's going to go unblockable.
Yeah, because normally you parry hit. So either
Yeah.
way, it's gonna be stalling for time if you hit into his block or if you straight up try to get punched in the face, which I don't know why people would, but hey, built up power nonetheless. So Aegon for sure I think is going to be a problem. Another skill champion that I think is going to be a problem is actually Crossbones,
That's a good one.
because he
It's
also
a good
hits
shout.
Furies as well. And he's worked kind of well in the past few metas as a defender. So I think this is one of those metas that he just kind of when he works, he works. Um, he can work offensively and defensively, but like True said, he takes a little bit of skill to play him, and some people like him playing him specific ways. So take that with a grain of salt. But I do think he can be a problem, especially more so because you're not expecting when he gets his Fury buffs. It's more random, if you will, so therefore he could actually be more detrimental if you're not expecting it. You know, if you're trying to go for it and then bam, you get smacked in the face. Um, Another one that I was thinking was Titania on defense.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. I actually did fight her on defense, and she went unstoppable a lot, and it
Yeah.
sucked. It sucked. I got corner locked. And in conjunction with her haymaker too, she can be problematic to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, those make a lot of sense. There's a lot that Aegon one I love because yeah, I've heard that he's effectively a menace.
yes, yes, he actually is. And then there's also Nova.
Yes.
Nova's gonna be a problem, guys. Nova is going to be an issue. So, all you Nova fans, put him back in your deck. Um, And all you guys that don't like fighting Nova in general, definitely consider him being an auto ban because he will be an issue. That's
Okay.
pretty much what I got.
I don't want to shift gears too much. Am I coming through robotic on your end? Because you're coming through a little robotic on my end.
No, you wasn't. You sounded relatively fine, but am I coming through robotic? Oh, that's not good.
You were for a stretch. That last sentence was good.
Okay. Well, I moved my mic a
Okay.
little bit closer um to my mouth, so maybe that's it.
No,
I'm
you
not
sound
sure.
great. There was a stretch on my end. We'll see if it's in the output, I guess.
Okay.
No, those are all good shouts. I think Aegon, Bones, Titania for sure. Nova is going to be a menace. And that's where we'll start looking, again, Valk, right? You're going to hit that Aegon block. You're going to deal with Unstoppable. Yeah, but there's going to be unblockables as well. We'll get to that. But as far as other defenders, I think that are sneaky, Hulk gets those passive fury
Ooh,
effects,
you are absolutely
and you
right.
never really know when they're going to start showing up.
That's a good shout. The Hulk passive.
Leader gets debuffs, and then but when he opens the green door and you have those debuffs on you, he'll get a fury. So if you wind up, just whacking into him and the fight doesn't go your way and you've got debuffs on you, when that green door opens, he's going to go unstoppable and you might not expect it.
Okay. Where is my leader? Bruh. Did I overlook leader? Oh, there he is. Okay, I don't have him. All right.
I mean, you might be overlooking leader. I know you actually were pretty early actually telling me to rank 3 him,
Yeah.
but I had to take him up for Alliance War defense and he has not lost me around in the victory track.
Yeah, he's really good. I don't have him, sadly. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I got leader down.
Yeah, and there's gonna be sneaky ones out there, right? These sneaky champs that you don't realize do this thing and gain a fury. We have the obvious ones that gain furies, like your Medusas and some of the champs that we've listed before.
Yeah.
Even Strangely, Sabretooth gets one, I think, like every 5 times you hit him, right? Someone,
Yeah.
someone somewhere is going to think of this thing and throw them in their deck.
And then people are gonna be like, "What?" And it's definitely gonna work. It's definitely,
Yeah, that's
definitely gonna work.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But then, so counters, right? So again, you got to get to the slow counters, right? Valk is very valuable because of her hitting the block and doing that. Shang-Chi got that easy, slow access. We have some champs that have easy, slow access. Even North Star, he's got it on his special one. It's pretty straightforward. You can spam that. Hawkeyes, and who else has an easy, slow? Spider Gwen. I saw someone Spider
Yeah,
Gwenning
Spider Gwen. Yep,
a
Spider Gwen.
Sassy. Um,
Sassy does have
She-Hulk,
one.
now that she's a
She-Hulk.
7-star.
Yep, She-Hulk. That is true.
She-Hulk OG, which I happen to have. Maybe it's time to rank her up. But
Uh,
one other thing that you said stuck out, and I think I want to talk about, which is that then on the defense as well, those champs that are hard to punish, right? Because you're trying to punish, you
mm-hmm.
want to keep those grits up. So I've also noted down here for good on attack as Dazzler and Morbius, because
Ooh.
both of them have that built-in falter mechanic that allows them to effectively phase a special and punish it.
Okay.
And Dazzler, I love. I've been razzle dazzling through the victory track. But her, I mean, you basically in 2 combos can phase specials, and you'll effectively be able to do it almost every time they throw a special if you do it right.
Okay. Okay.
So for
Um.
your tricky special spamming, I'm gonna get crushed by unblockables. Don't sleep on those two.
Yeah. I those are great shouts because I mean I don't have either one of them that I play with. I have them both, but I don't play with either one. So I'm glad that you have some insight on them. I would say some champions that their specials are difficult uh to punish would be Enchantress special one. I don't think I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
anybody effectively punish her special one because it comes at a it comes with you gotta specific actions afterwards. Not that you, I guess, well, I just never seen anybody be able to punish it. Um, Another one that I think might be a little bit problematic to punish would be Arcade, his special 2. I know you can punish his special
Oh, yeah.
1, but his special
Yeah,
2,
it's
I've
true.
never seen anybody punish his special 2. I've seen him dex it fully, but not punish. So if you guys like arcade, which I do like arcade, his special 2 might be an issue. So if your opponent is unaware of how to really do the special 1 decks, because I think a lot of people are still playing pre-buff uh, arcade where they just dex the last little buzz saw and they think that he's not going to gain his tokens, which it don't matter if you dex it or if you take it on the block, he's getting those 3 tokens now. So a lot of people are more comfortable with pushing them to special 2, so that's something to watch out for. Destroyer, I think you actually can punish his special 2, so I take that back.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I take that back. I'm just kind of going down the line here of champions that.
There is one small exception to your arcade rule, and it actually pains my soul a little bit because this champion also went up for Alliance War defense,
Uh-oh.
but he also gave me my fastest arcade kill of the season so far at 52.5K, and that's
Ooh.
Adam Warlock
Oh, wow. That is
because you're
true.
unblockable,
You're
right? So you
unblockable.
could punish
Yeah,
the special too.
you're right. You're unblockable, so you can punish the special too. So that is the exception, but not the rules, ladies and gentlemen.
Not the
That
rule.
that that is the exception.
It kills my soul,
Yeah.
Adam Warlock.
Mm,
But that also tied to what you were talking earlier about Deathless Vision, or sorry, Deathless King Groot, where
Yes.
he has the thing built in where if he gets hit by an unblockable, he can cash in a Fury and go unstoppable, right? So at
Hmm.
least save you from getting comboed into oblivion.
Yes. Yes. So that is useful, in my opinion. That is quite useful. Why am I not seeing anybody whose specials is a problem? I'm really just not seeing too many people whose
I mean,
specials.
we've gotten pretty good at the game for sure.
Yeah,
Like punishing bullseye specials are is pretty tough.
that is true. That is true. That is true.
Uh,
Bullseye punishing his special. So Bullseye could low key be a problem, guys, for sure. I
yeah,
forgot about
punishing
him.
his specials are pretty tough for sure.
I know you can punish Shuri specials. Um,
Yeah,
I'm not good at her special to punish, but I know you can do it. In fact,
yeah,
it's kind of weird because you can dash in on the during the attack of her special 2 to be like point blank rage and then dex back to avoid the last hit and then punish. So it's kind of weird with
yeah. That sounds
Shuri.
like C5 play right there. I don't know what you're even talking about.
Yeah,
Doesn't
no,
make a lot
you
of
you
sense
could
to me.
definitely do it. You could definitely do it. I promise.
um,
Maybe Red
Dust,
Skull's SP2 is
that
hard.
Dust special one is tough to punish.
Yes. Assuming that you don't know how to do it point blank, because a lot of people got good at it um point blank because with the root uh meta. Remember when we was getting
Yeah, that
rooted?
makes sense.
Yeah. So if
Yeah,
you know the timing on it, you can still punish, but a lot of people like to dex all the way back to the corner or dash back, I should say. And then dex it from there because they have more time and they feel it's a safer distance, but that's actually not necessary, but you can't do it that way if you want to.
yeah. An interesting one might be Mysterio because
Yes.
you can't really punish his specials.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Actually,
can.
yeah. You
They're both
can,
risky.
but you don't want to. Yeah.
You don't want to. You don't want to punch that special one and that special
Eh,
two. If you miss, you're getting
Yeah,
clapped.
yeah. That's actually a good shout. Mysterio might be one to watch out for, guys. To be fair, I love Mysterio. It's just the tech class is so good now. It's so good. But you could actually Mysterio, guys, is a dual threat champion. I don't know if a lot of you
Yeah,
knew that, but he most certainly is. He can take Rentra, and since he cannot have ability accuracy reduction, that means he's not getting that neutralize on himself, guys. I didn't know if you knew that or not, but yeah, he doesn't get or I'm sorry, he doesn't get the he doesn't give him those renter charges, those mystical charges. Are they called mystical charges, I believe?
yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
they are mystical charges.
Yeah, he doesn't grant that when he fights Rentra. I didn't know if a lot
That's
of people
nice.
knew that or not. And also he's a
No,
great
that's a nice
domino
tip.
counter. Yeah, he's a great domino counter too. So he can be utilized on attack when used correctly. In fact, I've even let someone kill themselves one time with him where I threw the special one, allowed them to hit me, and then when the reflect damage came back, I went back to full health and they died. It was actually pretty cool. It was actually pretty cool. Um, but other than that, I can't really see. Oh, what about Prowler? Prowler.
Prowler's a good shout.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a good shout. And he also gets Furies
that is true.
when he throws his specials because you've thrown specials on your end. So if there's ever going to be a time where Prowler's going to be more painful than he is on defense, because he can catch you in a moment, no
That is
doubt
true.
about it.
I agree. I agree.
He absolutely catch you. Yeah, I think Prowler low key is a very good shout. Very good shout.
Yeah, I was just kind of staring at him and I was thinking, wait a minute, you're not supposed to punish his specials. Okay. All right. He works.
Yeah, you got to get those miss. That's an interesting. You bring miss into the whole unstoppable and unblockable equation, and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I agree.
There are of course a couple champs that shut down unblockable stuff too, right? Anyone who can apply fear would, I believe, shut down that unblockable. So that'd be like your Deathless She-Hulk, who with what we're talking about in this meta, given that you can get the grit on any special punish anyway, and she
Hmm.
has that baked into the equation and has fear, she might be pretty good.
I think she will be. And also you have Serpent who has the
Yep.
fear. So that's
White
gonna,
Tiger
yeah, White Tiger.
starts with fear as well.
Yeah. So those champions might come in handy this meta, guys. I don't personally play White Tiger. I don't think she's a bad champion. I think she's just quite good. It's just not a champion that I ever wanted to learn how to play or picked up yet. Maybe one day, possibly. But
She's pretty fun, but we'll see how she interacts.
yeah. But yeah.
Uh, that's good. That's good. I think that covers a lot of stuff. I think, don't forget your neutralizers for when we're dealing with Fury buffs, but there's a reason they put it effects, and there's a reason some of the sneakier ones are going to be champs with passive Furies, right? Like
Yes.
Hulk, like Prowler, like champs you can't You're going to have to play into the node, or you're going to have to get the slow to deal with it. You're not going to be able to just neutralize the buffs and get around it.
Yep, that is 100% true. They do want this meta to be kind of punishing, it would seem. I don't have overall general thoughts yet. I've only played like 3 matches in the Gladiator circuit. Um, I personally don't have an answer as if I'm going to like it or not yet. Generally, it takes me a little bit to play it and really see if I enjoy the meta or not, guys. So I can't give you an honest answer. Um, I think some people will like it for sure, and I think others will struggle bust it because of the limber, because of the unstoppable, um, and in the later meta because of the unblockable, right? Like some people
Yeah,
just don't do well with various nodes, and sometimes some people might even complain about the weaknesses because they will.
yeah,
Again, it's 3 seconds, guys, which is not a lot of time, and they're stacking quickly.
yeah.
So. There's a whole list of reasons why some people will not enjoy it, whereas those same reasons, other people will enjoy it, right? So, I don't know where I stand with it yet, but what about you, Truth?
I mean, every meta is going to have its unenjoyable aspects, and a lot of that's going to come down to, I know for me, it comes down to not necessarily the node sets, because they're all meant to present challenges, right? And that's
Hmm.
something we need to keep in mind when we go into these things. It's not meant to be, hey, here's the yellow brick road to your win. It's meant to be, here are challenges and hurdles we've put in front of you that you and your opponent are going to compete through. And there are aspects of it you can control and aspects you can't. And we'll see who comes out on top. So it's meant to challenge you and get to you like that. But I know for me, it's mainly when I just don't play well. Like when I shoot myself in the foot
Yeah.
is when I get frustrated, right? So it's just trying to approach it with a different mindset, or approach it with that mindset, right? I'm just trying to do my best, trying to do well, trying to create a deck. To Jay Will's point, most of us are getting to a point now where it's not just your top 30 champs that go in, right? We're having to make decisions. And we need to make those decisions with some thought behind it. We need to
Yep.
make those decisions thinking about, what problems am I trying to solve with the nodes? What problems are people going to give me? And also being humble enough to go back to the drawing board, 3, 5 days in, and go, these solutions aren't working and these problems are still becoming a problem. How am I
Yep.
going to solve these problems now? Make my experience the most enjoyable and to finish as high as I can.
Yep. It's a definite humbling feeling, guys, when you're like, man, I'm on the worst tilt of my life and it doesn't seem like it's going to end. To me, that's the most humbling because I feel my lowest when I'm not succeeding. Um, so going back to the board is an excellent solution. Um, Maybe you think about what you're having issues, like who you're having issues facing, and what defenders you're dealing with. And then if you're not going to ban those defenders, then how do you get enough attackers to where it won't break your deck to handle those defenders, right? And sometimes that looks like an ascended 6 star or just a 6 star.
Hey,
Like I've been there where it's like, you know
hey,
what?
let's go.
It's like, you know what, man? Hey, it's not a rank 3, but guess what? It doesn't matter because I'm losing. So, hey, gotta go back. So, that's just one of the lifelong lessons you have to learn if you're uh, a Battlegrounds player playing it a lot. That's just one of the lessons you're gonna have to learn. It's not a one size fits all. Just because you have a champion at the highest level doesn't mean that he can cook in every meta, right? Offensively
Mhm.
or defensively. So it's just a reality of it. And this is coming from someone who has 54 rank threes, and sometimes they ain't it. You know what I mean? So it's not like I only
Yeah,
have like, a handful. I think I have quite a few, and sometimes they ain't it. Sometimes you just gotta go down
yeah.
to the 6 stars. It's like, hey, it is what it is. So, but yeah, man. Any final thoughts on anything? Anything we didn't cover, you think, or what do you think?
No, I think we covered the metas well. I think we gave people a good baseline to work with. I think that close was beautiful in terms of getting people into the right mindset to go compete. And I think outside of that, I wish you all the best on your season. And looking forward to competing with you. And if you want to come get at me or Jay for some questions, come hit a stream, and feel free to ask us about how to solve some of these problems. We're here to support and help you guys out.
Yes, yes, we are. Absolutely. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this type of content. And also, subscribe to my boy Truth Comics, man. He knows his stuff. There's a reason why I deal with certain individuals, guys. Trust me, there's a reason, and he's one of those reasons. He definitely, definitely knows his stuff. So what he meant by you can come to us if you have any questions, he really meant him, not me, because I'm not good at answering questions. He's the mega mind behind he's the guy behind the scenes. He's that guy. But seriously, thank you so much, Truth, for getting on call and talking about this meta. I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people. And guys, definitely show your support by making sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Not only for us, me and Jabari, but for Truth as well, guys. We do put a lot of time and thought into helping the community because we love you guys. That's the truth. We do. We love you guys and we want to
Amen.
see you guys succeed. But if you ever could help us out, now is the time to do it with hitting the like buttons and hitting the subscribe button to help push us to other people that need help and that are appreciating and liking this type of content as well. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this one. You want to close this out, Truth?
I really appreciate the opportunity. And like he said, man, I love you. I love all you out there. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for putting this together.
No problem. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.